Have you ever finished a conversation and then spent the next few hours thinking about it? Did I say something wrong? What did they really mean? What if I had handled it differently? What are they thinking of me? Or perhaps you have an important decision to make, and instead of making the decision, your mind keeps generating more and more possibilities. If you've experienced this, you're certainly not alone. But why does the mind do this? Let's look at it from a psychological perspective. First, thinking itself isn't the problem. Thinking helps us solve problems, learn from experience, prepare for the future, and understand other people. The difficulty begins when thinking becomes repetitive without producing a useful resolution. Psychology often distinguishes between productive problem solving and repetitive thinking, such as rumination and worry. For example, imagine you made a mistake at work. Productive thinking might sound like, what happened? What can I learn from it? What can I do differently next time? Once you've answered those questions, the thinking can stop. Overthinking can sound very different. Why did I do that? What do they think about me? What if this ruins everything? Maybe I should have said something else. The same event can be replayed again and again without creating a new solution. So why does the brain keep doing it? One important reason is uncertainty. Humans naturally want to predict what will happen next. When we don't know the outcome of something important, the mind may generate different scenarios in an attempt to prepare us. What if this happens? What if that happens? In the short term, this can feel useful. Thinking creates the feeling that we're doing something about the uncertainty. But there is a paradox here. More thinking doesn't always create more certainty. Sometimes it simply creates more questions. Another factor is fear of making mistakes. If someone believes that a mistake will have serious consequences, embarrassment, rejection, criticism, or failure, they may spend a great deal of time trying to find the perfect answer before acting. In this situation, thinking can become a way of postponing risk. There is also a social dimension. Humans are highly sensitive to relationships and social evaluation. That's one reason people sometimes replay conversations. The mind is essentially asking, are we okay? Did I upset them? How did they perceive me? A certain amount of reflection can help us learn from social experiences. But when the same conversation is replayed repeatedly without new information, it can become exhausting. Another interesting factor is perfectionism. If someone believes they must make the perfect decision, say the perfect thing, or avoid every possible mistake, uncertainty becomes very difficult to tolerate. And because life rarely provides complete certainty, the mind keeps searching. This is why overthinking isn't necessarily a sign that someone is unintelligent or incapable of making decisions. Sometimes, it reflects a mind that is trying very hard to prevent mistakes, uncertainty, or emotional pain. But it's important not to oversimplify this. Overthinking can have many causes, and persistent worry or repetitive negative thinking can also occur alongside conditions such as anxiety or depression. So we shouldn't diagnose ourselves simply because we think a lot. The more useful question might be, is my thinking helping me understand and solve something? Or am I repeatedly asking the same question without moving forward? That distinction can be surprisingly important, and perhaps the most compassionate way to look at overthinking is this. Your mind may not be trying to make your life difficult. It may be trying to protect you from uncertainty. Understanding that doesn't mean we should accept every thought as true. It simply means we can become curious about why the mind is producing those thoughts in the first place. This video is for general psychological education and isn't a diagnosis or substitute for professional care. If repetitive worry or intrusive thoughts are significantly interfering with someone's daily life, speaking with a qualified mental health professional can be appropriate. Sometimes understanding the mind is the first step toward changing our relationship with it.